today. Our guest here this afternoon, the stress coach, Mr. Mzi Mngoma. This bi-monthly lecture of SALGC will be broadcast live on Facebook as well as live on Moray Live radio station. A very historic event. A very historic event that the first time we have a live broadcast on radio. Let me first welcome everybody who's in the house via Zoom. Welcome also those that are live on Facebook and also those that are live on Umure Live radio station. I'm gonna ask everybody who is in here, who walks in, to please mute so that we don't get a interruption on our feed. Just to get started, I need to quickly go fast because we have a live broadcast. The South African Leadership Gentlemen's Club, just a quick introduction as who we are. We are a home to all South African men and boys, and equally a shelter, beautiful shelter, and a protection, including those that we call the vulnerable, being everybody who needs protection, because we as men are appointed by God to be the protector of the weak. The philosophy of this club, the South African Leadership Gentlemen's Club, derives from the Bible, where God made men after he has made them. Can we mute, please? Can you mute? Thank you. Thank you, leadership. So our philosophy derives from the Bible, where God made the world, which is an environment. Eventually, he made a man and say, I need someone to go manage my earth, the colony. He appointed a man, he took him down to the colony. Actually, he actually made him from the soil, right in on earth, his colony, and say, sit here and manage earth. Once God has done that, along the way, he realized that the man was lonely, and he knew that man needed a help. As God, as the mighty who knows it all, he made him a woman. He made a woman. Most religious people will tell you that he made a womb man, which is a man with a womb, to come to earth and assist a man in the mission that God has gave him. So that is the SALGC philosophy. We are men. We are going back to the roots, back to the drawing boards. We found our calling to go out and sort out our communities. It cannot be right that in our communities where we are, there's social illness that is going on, that is happening every day. There's thugs and enemies of the society. There's rapists of our women and children. There's bullies of our boy children and all that. And we are there as men and we are doing nothing about it. It cannot be that our communities and societies where we live from, it is where we harbor all these criminals who hijack vehicles, who kill people, who eventually do kill our loved ones. And all we do is say, God will provide. We are there, we are appointed to be the protector of the weak. So we men decided to stand up as SALGC and say, we will rebuild our societies, because our communities is where the leaders that you see today, unfortunately, the leaders that everybody complains about today so badly, our communities and our families and our homes, it's where these leaders are coming from. So we're going back to the basic as the national club. We're saying leadership begins at home, because home is where the family is. And home is where leadership should begin. And we look at any nation, look at the family if you want, look at the nation, the leadership of the nation if you want to see the prototype of the society. Whatever society that you see, you must know that it resembles the family that it comes from. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to accept that we come from dislocated families. Hence, we produce the kind of leaders that we produce. And we should not shy away from saying that. And this is why SALGC is not seeing themselves as the answer to all the problems that are in the community. We see ourselves as the people who will bring together men, galvanize all men in the communities and the nation, and we cannot achieve this mission all by ourselves. And hence, it was not difficult for us when our guest here today, Leadership Mzi, knock on the door and say, I need to talk to men, give me the platform. We never thought twice about it. We thought it is time that somebody comes and talk to family. Hence this program today and this lecture today is not only to men. It's a family building lecture where we're putting men and women together to say a community has to build a society, a family, because a family is the oldest institution in the world, older than the church, older than the parliament itself. So if you destroy a family, you're destroying the nation. So this platform is meant to build a nation. So Leadership Mzi, we are men here who follow that philosophy that I've just explained to you. And then we have women here. Questions could be asked that are women allowed in SALGC? Yes, of course. We have women here who are members, who are not members of the club, because the club is for men. But women that we have here are friends of the club. We call them friends of SALGC. These women are women that are here purposely to assist the club on its national and community-based programs. Programs such as the ones that we just had last year, your national essay writing competition for young men, where we get them to be involved on the topic of toxic masculinity. They must learn what is that, and they must be able to fight that so that there's no bullying in schools, and that bullying that develops in schools doesn't grow into our communities and societies as well. So we have out of that Friends of SALGC, women who are dedicated to participate in programs of SALGC. So my message to all women that are out there who are curious and saying, we wish to be part of this club, we wish to be part of men who are doing good in the society, we wish to encourage our partners, our brothers and sisters, our uncles to join the club. Of course, you're welcomed. Please, by all means, you're also welcomed, ladies, to come to the club and participate as friends of the club to help our communities wherever you're seated. They say leadership starts where you are. It doesn't start when you ascend the powers of the union buildings or wherever where you are being called to lead. Out of that, also have the young men or the youth ambassadors, which are young men that are part of the club, who are in schools, who are in communities, who are mobilizing the ones of their age groups, who are encouraging them to be members of the club so that they can abide by the values and the culture of the South African Leadership Gentlemen's Club, which is leadership, leadership, leadership. And that is what our system and our education today, it's not teaching our young boys. So we have taken it amongst ourselves that we will teach our young boys that we are not here to compete. We are here to exhibit what God has built into us. And we are here to complement each other, to build a great nation. Some would ask, how did SALGC come into the picture? Leadership Mzi, we came into the picture by analyzing the problems of our society. It was very clear that the problems that we have in our society. It was very clear that the problems that we have in our society were not really naturally political or anything. It was complete lack of leadership. So we thought to ourselves, let there be leadership, let us have programs that will address the challenges of the problems that we have. And then we developed 5 founding pillars of the club. These pillars that we have in SALGC are aimed at nothing else but to address the psychosocial and economic challenges of our communities. So we see today the programs, there are NPOs, NGOs, there's a lot of organizations that go out there and call men trash and all that. And they never look at what challenges men are facing. And we're glad that today you also be going to be talking to men and they apply it. So our founding pillars addresses the psychosocial economic challenges of our societies. And that includes rebuilding the man that has since fallen from the Garden of Eden. Because if you look at it, the reality is since the man's fall in the Garden of Eden, there's never been any intention by a corporate or anything, or business, or church, or anything, to try to raise the fallen man. Instead, there will always be a blame on the man, a blame on the man. And perhaps it's one of the reasons why man has thrown the towel and say, we don't care anymore. So the club says to a man, you are a leader, and that's what you have been appointed to be. Don't give up, stand up and walk tall. So those are the reasons why the club was founded, on those 5 founding pillars. And I won't go and elaborate what they are. For those who wants to see more of the pillars, they can visit our website. They are all there on www.salgc.org.za. And they can contact our WhatsApp line 0836888092. So we have various programs that we're also running in the club, Leadership Mzi. We've got programs, just to mention a few. We have programs like your national leadership, bi-monthly leadership lecture, which is this one that we have today. This lecture, it's not a coincidence. It goes in hand with our first pillar of mental liberation of a South African man, his mind, and the boy child. We're mentally liberating men here and boy child. We're making it 360-degree. So this pillar, it developed this program that we're sitting in today. Twice a month, we are having these lectures from various speakers on issues of national importance. So we're grateful that you are here, harping on this pillar, and we hope that you will be a friend, you will be a member of the club, you will always be on the club and supporting the club as well in terms of helping us build this nation. Our other pillar is the one, our other program is the one that is being officially launched next week on Sunday around 2 o'clock. Those that are interested, please go visit our website and our Facebook page. You will see. It's called Lewa Labanna. Lewa Labanna, it's a Pedi word for the cage for men, or the man's cave. They say previously in the past, when men were wounded in a war or something, they would not sit there and just abdicate or cry. They will go to the cave and cry there and lick their wounds and come out strong. So Lewa Labana, it's such program that says, guys, you need to know about the legislative issues that affect you. You need to know about all issues that affects men. You need to cry. Where do you cry? Come to SALGC Lewa Labana and meet other men and talk about issues. Because men will tell you that, I don't know why I'm being defined by people everywhere, but not being defined by my source. So here's a home for you, for every man to say, everybody, the media, whoever can try and define you. But until you have been redefined properly by your maker and the source, and you take from that definition, you'll be strong enough to stand tall. Because majority of us as men have lost our lineages when we lost our fathers for many reasons that happened. And our boy child today continue to losing their lineage because fathers are not in their lives for various reasons. So that's one program that we're running. Officially, it will be launching next week on Sunday at 2 o'clock. We have Alua Rote. It's a vendor weight program for We Grow Together. It's an economic-based program based on our third pillar of economic beneficiation for all. So it's a crowdfunding kind of a national program where our communities are benefiting financially from the same wealth that they develop in their very same community. It cannot be that ShopRite checkers will come from where they are, find our economy in the township, swallow this economy and take it wherever. Everybody else, not only ShopRite, any corporate, and everybody who comes from wherever, they come to the township, they find the economy there, they swallow it, they absorb it, they take it away, and the township remains dry. Communities remains dry. Villages remains dry. So SALGC with Alua Rote says, let's build here where we are. So it is these various programs that we are launching, and I won't mention a lot because time also is on our side. So the last thing that I want to go to, because I can keep talking about this club, I can keep talking about what we're doing and what we would be doing and how much we need men in this country to stand up and join the club. However, today it's not about me, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's about our speaker today who's going to be talking to you. And I encourage each and every single one of you today, take out your notepads. And I'm not joking. Here's mine in front of me, if you can see. I am going to be taking notes and learning out of this lecture because these are stuff that most people are paying for, ladies and gentlemen. But SALGC is able to talk to these great leaders to bring you here who are great people, authors at some point, some of them, professors and all that, people who have written books. We are bringing them here and say they extrapolate that information for you without you going to have to read anything to know it. So grab your notepads, get yourself ready. We are about to get the ride. Leadership Mzi, I'm going to quickly introduce you so that everybody knows who our speaker is. And shortly after that, I'll hand over to you, my leader. So a lot will be asking, who is this gentleman and where does he come from? Mzi Mngoma, brief bio, it says he's the author, a CETA accredited trainer, speaker, stress coach, and a relationship coach. I tell you, this country, and it's a word of advice, everyone needs a coach. If you don't have a coach, find one now. Trust me, what I'm saying, I know. He was born in Soweto 46 years ago. He's a married man, a father of 7, and 5 girls and 2 boys. The author of 2 books. One book is called You Deserve Better, Move Before You Die. Beautiful title. And another one says Enough is Enough. The book that he says You Deserve Better is about relationships. And the one that says Enough is Enough, it's about taking a risk in life. You'll never get anywhere if you don't. So try and get those books and get that wealth of wisdom, because our leader is not here to talk about them, but he's here to talk about the plight of men. But these books are a wealth of knowledge that I'm sure a lot of us could benefit if we go read them. He has been in employee health and wealth and people development for more than 20 years now, both in public and private sector. He's trained in human resource, HIV/AIDS, EAP, trained IT, estate, real estate, performance management, project, SME development, business management, leadership and development management, monitoring, coaching in public speaking, and strategic foresight. Studied here, all these, he studied most of them, and all of them at these following institutions: University of Wits, Tech, UNISA, University of Pretoria, University of Johannesburg, Regenesis Business School, Millpark Business School, and other various accredited institutions. In 2020, he completed a small business enrichment program at the University of Johannesburg. He is a ETDP CETA accredited facilitator, assessor, moderator. He is a speaker, business mentor with NYDA, EAP, and employee wellness practitioner. He's a life coach, ladies and gentlemen, relationship coach, and a stress coach. He is an executive chairman and CEO of Mngoma Empowerment Group, director of You Deserve Better, and founder of Stress Coach. He is passionate about personal development, youth development, organizational development, SME development, and entrepreneurship and mental health. His mission in life is to empower individuals and organizations to bring out the best in them. And I think he found the right platform here. On radio, he has been a guest on Radio Pulpit, Josie FM, Mohali FM, Sidibeng FM, West Side FM, Dexter City Radio, Massive Metro, Alex Radio, Power FM, Chiwelo FM, SAFM, Voice of Matatiele, and Mure Life Radio, which is our partner in broadcasting today. On TV, he has appeared on Tim Mudise's show, on ENCA, SABC Daily Theatre, One Gospel TV, Newsroom Africa, Gospel Conference, Global Conference TV, and the chat room on SABC One. He conducts sermons, summit, camps, conferences, workshops, and expo to upskill people. He is a professional member of the affiliate of Employee Association, Professional Association of SA, the EAPA of South Africa. Membership there is given. Gauteng Skills Development Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, with that in a nutshell, I give over to leadership Mzi Mngoma. Leader, I give over to you, my leader, to jump into it.
Yes, and the leadership, Yes, SALGC, thank you so much. Can you hear me properly?
Loud and clear, Malini.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Baba. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. And I'm excited. I'm truly humbled indeed by your generosity, Ndade, for me to come and share a little bit of what I know as far as the issue of stress is concerned. And I am a stress coach indeed, as you've mentioned. So a lot of men that you have established the organization for are going through a lot of stress. They are going through various levels of stress and they just cannot manage. They just cannot cope. And then now you will see from the presentation that you are giving me an opportunity for me to be able indeed to share, that which I know, that which I've been exposed to. And I'm truly humbled by this beautiful turn up, and I'm truly happy, and I'm truly excited. Pratep Samachogana, can see him, and I'm so happy to also hear and just to share that a little bit. So I truly appreciate it so much, and believe me, the work that you are doing, it may not be recognized when I'm Tabakwe, but now over time, definitely South Africa will take heed, in fact, of this call. One day, your organization will change from South African and it will become Southern African, gentle leadership. And we are not only South African, but you've got a mandate that will reach even the ends of the continent. So one day I'm looking forward to a day whereby there will be people from Lesotho, people from Swaziland who will say, no, Muna, you can't say we are South African, but we are Southern African, all right, so that we can be able then to grow and become that which God had created us to be. But thank you so much, Ndade. So I'll quickly want to share a screen in terms of my presentation. And you've just granted me that permission, and I just want to say thank you so much. Yeah, all right, can you all see the screen? Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, can you? Oh, all right, all right. No, thank you so much. Yeah. Now, the big question that one can be able to ask then is, now, what is Stress Coach, the organization that we have called? I'll quickly go on to introduce it to say this organization that I manage, that I run, that I coordinate, the one that I established, came as a result of this book, the book that you see on the screen, which is called Enough is Enough. So I wrote this book after, writing the first one with my wife, and I said, enough is enough. So as a result of this book, look, it speaks about someone who really feel they've denied themselves opportunities, to enjoy life. So this book is about enjoying life. So at Stress Coach, we want people indeed to enjoy life instead of enjoying life. Now, there's a difference. There's a lot of us that are not enjoying life, but they are enjoying life. So this organization came as a result of this powerful book, all right, that is called The Enough is Enough. Okay, that's a little bit of the introduction about the book itself, to say it is the one that gave birth to this. But now, in this organization, what do? We're offering coaching services. We're doing nothing else, but we specialize in coaching. What do we coach? We've got what is called personal coaching, where we empower individuals to deal with stress in order to achieve peace of mind. How many of you can agree that with stress, believe me, it's impossible to achieve a peace of mind? So we've got a one-on-one, as you can see, these two gentlemen that are there in terms of the picture. And then we ask questions such as, do you need answers? Do you want to sleep? Do you want freedom from guilt? A lot of men are not progressive because they are being trapped, into issues such as unforgiveness, addiction, worry. They worry too much. I'm a daughter, they worry a lot. And then, but what about COVID-19? Is it affecting you as a man? So now when we're doing personal coaching, then we help you then to deal with these issues, okay? Personal coaching, there's a one-on-one coaching that we can do with you, okay? Relationship coaching, in short. Relationship coaching, there are men who are into relationship, but in relationship coaching, we empower families to deal with stress in order for those families to live harmonious lives, okay? We believe in family. We believe that it is a basic unit of the society. So now if the family is not empowered, indeed, we just cannot survive as men. All right. Are you in a, what about a man who is in an abusive relationship? Issues that we are going to be talking about today. So you need help. You are with your wife, you are with your spouse, we are with your partner, and you are not managing, you are not coping. How can we help you? Okay. Do you have issues which are causing you sleepless nights as a family? We can assist you at Stress Coach. Okay. So now, what about an organization such as SALGC and the corporates and the banks and the churches? We empower these organizations to deal with stress, because when as an organization you are able to deal with stress, then you will maximize productivity. Many of us are leading our organization and institutions which have people who are stressed. So for that reason, that is why then we are able to talk to you about what causes really the decline in productivity, what causes your colleagues to always be absent, all right, to have members who are fighting each other. Do you know there's bullying in the workplace as well, okay? Because people that you are leading are stressed, okay? And more than anything else, the COVID-19 really has affected organizations. And we offer online or face-to-face sessions, and we can connect with you together with your team in order to maximize productivity, okay? Because you can't be productive when you are stressed, all right? So those are some of the few things that we are dealing with as an organization, okay? And we are excited about it. At Stress Coach, we can be able to do that. And then now you can connect with us at stresscoach.co.za to find more information about the services that we are doing. All right. Now, let's go then into the topic of today. I took about 3, 4, 5 minutes to introduce ourselves. Now, the topic of today is a very serious one, ladies and gentlemen, and we also welcome our ladies as well. So as much as we're going to be talking to men, but we're also going to be talking to ladies, and we are excited that they are also here, all right, so that they can also spread the message to their husbands, to their partners, in order to live a harmonious life. Because believe me, it becomes bad. Some of us are from terrible relationships. All right, some of us are still hating as it is. That is why we've written these 2 books that says if you feel that you are going through a lot, then there are things that you need to do. All right. But now, more importantly, then, is men are hating and men are also stressed. In as much as the focus is on women, in as much as the focus is on children, but men also are hating. Why? Men have been violated since they were young. There are some men who are hating because they've been violated. We've had uncles, aunts, mothers, and relatives, and the teachers who have abused men. Now, the spotlight has always been about women and children abuse, which is true. All right, historically, yes, it is true. But we also have men who have been hurt by their partners who are cheating. All right, there are men right now, even some in this platform, that have been devalued by their partners. Okay, right. We've got partners who beat men and who tell them that they are useless, you know, who even deprive them of sex. There are men, okay, because of situation at home is not sharp. And there are men that are still being hurt in the tobacco and the leadership by their fathers who are absent. There's a man who is 45, who is 35. There's a man who is 50. There's a man who is 70, who is still hurt by that father who was absent. Okay, now that is a problem. How do we help such a man? There are men, you know, who are hurt by being denied an access to see their children. There are. I mean, I've spoken to one 2 days ago who said to me, I don't know what to do. I don't want to run away like other men, but I want to support my wife, my children, in fact. Well, we did not see eye to eye in that relationship. That is why I decided to move away. But yet, I'm still hurt by the fact that I can't see my children. So there are women who are denying the men who really want to take care of their children. Okay, and the men are being hurt by those. There are men who are hurt by not being able to provide for their families. Look, there's a lot of unemployment. I mean, COVID-19 has brought a lot of pain to men, okay, also in particular. men are running businesses which are failing or which have failed. Now that is also a problem because there's no lack of support that men are receiving in terms of dealing with these issues. So the truth of the matter is, Honorable Bo, is men are hurting, and it's a fact. We are dealing with them. They come to us at Stress Coach. Okay. But now, in as much as men are hurting, guess what? They're silent about their hurt. Many men are silent. And for that reason, they are staying in abusive relationships. But now there are reasons why men are silent. All right. There's so many reasons, but I will speak about 5 of the reasons why men, even in bad relationships, they are still staying. One reason is they've tried, okay? They've tried not to be silent. They've tried to speak up, but they were ridiculed. I mean, I just read on Sowetan on Wednesday, it was telling a story of a man who was raped by another man. And he went to the police station in Soweto. And I'm not sure if you have read it, but he went to report the case in Soweto. And the police just decided to laugh and look at this man and said, how can? So men who are hurt, they're being ridiculed, not only by police, which is terrible, unfortunately. And we've got cases, studies have been done, research has been done. Police are not properly trained to deal with men who are coming to report cases of abuse. Okay. There are women who are very strong, who are extremely abusive of men. And now when men go and do their best to report and not wanting to retaliate, they get ridiculed by friends, family, and even by police, as I've just indicated. So unfortunately, it happens. Now, men feel it is a shame and disgrace to tell others. That is why men become silent. They feel ashamed. I mean, can you imagine Mzi going to tell a friend and say, hey, man, or this man on Shapil, so it becomes a disgrace. All right. Imagine Baholo. What about the families? What about the elders? What will they say if I say this woman had beaten me up? Okay. And the men they are scared to lose the financial support. I think in our society, because of economic reasons, there are men who are still stuck in relationship because this woman is providing. House owner Kiana who's working, Kiana who's taking care of everything, and the men are silent and they don't talk about the abuse that they're experiencing in this household because of what? Because of the woman is in control financially, okay? And then now it becomes a problem. These men feel, you're not man enough to report. When you go and report, I mean, it's against your culture, it's against your well-being as a man to go and report cases of abuse as a man. So this is another reason. All right, number 5 is men, they don't want to hurt their children, and not only children, but those who, those around them. When you go and report these cases, men, they rather be silent instead of going and reporting these matters. Okay, and now in making sure that their children are not being affected. So these are serious issues. But even more interestingly then will be, well, the male ego then, it does not allow men to talk. Okay, look, why should I say that? I'm a man, and because I'm a man, I cannot show my emotions. I cannot display how I feel. Even in the pain that I'm feeling, I'm a man, I will take it as a man. And yet inside you are dying. Inside you are boiling. Inside you are like a balloon. And it's something about a balloon, if it keeps on, if the air keeps on coming inside, then one day this balloon, and the team this will explode. That is why we've got this explosion of men, because they are hiding these truths. They are hiding, and they are not indeed sharing the pain that they are feeling. That is why they're doing terrible things. Hey man, Amatot are doing terrible stuff because of their silence. I mean, there's a case now, I mean, of all the cases that I've been sharing, but the one that really touched me more than anything else, it is a story of this young man. They're in love with this lady for some reason. All right. The man decided to use a grinder to grind this woman. I mean, guys, Now, every time when I think about what was the reason that made this man to do this? All right, he's a young man, and now, I mean, at the moment that you have this grinder, I mean, I've used grinder before, and I've seen people in my house using the grinder before. You know how terrible that thing is. And now there is a man who took a grinder and sliced this man. Now you can think deep and go deep in terms of trying to find out what exactly was in the mind, in the heart, in the emotions of this man for him to commit such atrocities, unfortunately. All right. Now, these are the things that are happening when men are silent, when men are feeling the pain. They end up doing crazy things like the one that I've just mentioned. Okay. There's also a case two years ago, I think you've heard, and we've also written about it in the book, where this man decided to hang, you know, all the children. I think there were about four children in KZ, and he hanged them literally because he was angry at the woman. Okay, and now because he's angry, he's taking out the anger on the children in order to hurt this woman. Now, come to think of it, you hating, all right, children by hanging them. All right, now what kind of a man will do something like that? You're right. If this man, I believe he had said something about this situation, probably help would have come up. But anyway, we are going to come to the to some few suggestions to say what should a hurting man do. All right. Now, these men are stressed now because of all the pain that they're experiencing now. What that does then, it results in men experiencing stress, going through stress. The topic today is we are talking about stress and the stress that men are experiencing. Now, you've got different types. Now, these are the signs that men are stressed. Now, if you are a man joining this platform or everywhere else you are connected on radio or on social media, these are the signs, because if you see these signs, these are physical signs, okay, that you are stressed. When you're feeling some pains, when you're feeling some aches in your body, when you've got some chest pains or you're feeling like your heart is racing, when you always find trouble in sleeping, and when you're experiencing headaches, dizziness, high blood pressure, there's a tension in your muscles, there's some stomach problems, and you've got trouble as a man, you know, in having sex, meaning you're experiencing what is called a low libido, then, or you've got a weak immune system. Those are the signs. Whenever you're experiencing these signs, then it's a cautionary measure. It's a sign that as a man, you are going through some physical signs. You are manifesting stress in your life. All right. Now, you definitely will need help as soon as possible. Once you display or exhibit these physical signs. All right. What about the emotional signs? As a man, you become more emotional than usual. You know, there's a lot of anger that you're displaying. There's a lot of irritability, okay? You are feeling overwhelmed or you feel like you are on the edge. You know, most of the time as a man, you find trouble in keeping the track of the things or just remembering things. Okay, when you're a man, you are experiencing trouble in making some decisions or in solving some problems or in finding trouble in concentrating, or you are always struggling to get things done, okay, and you are short-tempered, and because you're short-tempered and you're displaying all these things, you instead use alcohol or drugs to relieve your emotional stress. So these are the signs that indeed emotionally you are not okay. So you will need assistance as a man as soon as possible. Okay, we have identified the physical signs. We have also identified the emotional signs. But what about the behavior that you display as a man when you are stressed? One of the things is you become withdrawn. In other words, you always prefer to be alone. Okay. Another sign that you are going through a stress in terms of the behavior that you are displaying is you become vengeful. You are full of revenge. All right. And you know, you find yourself as a man carrying dangerous weapon, okay, and you develop an urge to hurt someone, all right, because you are stressed, and especially the negative type of stress. And at the moment where, as a man, because you are stressed, you always entertain other women other than your own. So you are experiencing these things. Some men, when they are stressed, they use pornography in order for them to distract themselves from the pain, okay? And as a man, you also become emotionally disconnected with those that are closest to you. And now also you're losing interest in some hobbies that you may be having. And even more seriously, you feel suicidal. A lot of men, because they can't cope with stress, they feel so suicidal, okay? But now another behavior that they do is that men really, they divorce, and some of them, they end a toxic relationship. So those are some of the signs which become an indication that this man is really going through a lot, okay? So those
Can
are,
I,
yeah,
can I interrupt you just shortly, quickly?
yes, sir.
I see uncustomarily leadership Majokan has his hand up. I want to find out if there's anything what he needs to say with what you have just said. Dade Majokan.
Okay.
Chairman.
Yes, my leader.
Yes, leadership. Oh, let me
Hand is up.
pause.
Oh, all right, sure. Sorry, leadership.
Let me pause, leadership. Sorry.
Please put it down, my leader. Sure. Sure, leadership. Apologies about that.
All right, that.
All right, sure.
All right. All right. Now then, given now all these signs, given that these are the signs indeed that men are going through, in Dr. Tlabakwe and the leadership is, now what then is the solution? What are some of the things that we are proposing as the solution to all the pain that men are going through? Okay, now painful as it is, and no matter how much of the hurt that this man, because the honest truth is when men are not getting assistance in this stressing that they are displaying now, the big problem then becomes them committing terrible things. We have seen stories, and I've just narrated two of them. There are many more things that men are doing because they don't take action. There is something that they don't do right. All right. In as much as there's a lot of pain that they're experiencing, in as much as there's a lot of stress that men are going through, and now men, then they tend, then of course, to go through these emotions and to go through all these situations, and they don't get assistance. If a man is not getting any assistance, then of course they do all these terrible things. I mean, we've got to both, the enough is enough, man is a trash, and all these terrible things which are being spoken about because men have not found assistance. Now, what then do we propose as stress coach? Okay, now at stress coach, we believe that the opposite of stress is peace. If you are not in a stressful situation, or if you don't experience peace in your life, then it means you are going through stress. If you're not stressed, then you should be in a state of peace. But now you have made it so simple for everyone to understand and to connect with the word peace, P-E-A-C-E. All right. So we've taken peace and we've broken it down to make it so easy and digestible so that after this lecture, then one, especially a man, can take into consideration some of the suggestions that I have put here, especially as a stress coach. Okay, the first thing that we always propose when we're dealing with men who are coming to our offices, whom we connect with them online, who need assistance, is P stands for prayer. I think the first thing that any man needs is to connect with their higher power. We want to suggest that one of the things that has worked in my life, one of the things, that has worked in our lives. And one thing that can work in any man's life, it is when a man connect to his father. It is man connect with the other man, the man who created you. Because guess what? Something about God is when you go to him, he's your father, he created you. He understands every single pain that you're going through, every single manner of abuse that you've been exposed to as a man. I mean, Mina, I've witnessed situations which were terrible in my life. I mean, at the age of 4 or 5, I saw my father beating my mother, beating my uncle, beating my grandmother. And from the home, in toilet. My father was a strong man, a very tough man. So he made them to run. Now, I was young. I witnessed that unfortunate situation. Okay. And then now I grew up also with that anger to say, what kind of a man definitely will do something like that? So some of men are going through that. Another problem that my father did was he married my mother, but though traditionally, though he was in polygamy, and I never told my mother. And now I'm a product of polygamy. So I grew up being angry because I did not get all the attention that I needed as a man, as a young man growing up from my father. I mean, my dad passed away in 2017 recently as a very old man, but believe me, there's still something inside of me that said, I've not forgiven this father because of all the bad things that he has done. But now look what happened with prayer. I went to God, I went to the Father who created me. And I said to him, Father, I cannot cope, I cannot manage. Now I need you to help me. I need you to assist me. And believe me, prayer, what it does, all right, it gives you that peace, that contentment, that even though you have been disappointed by other people, but God will never disappoint a man who comes to him and say, I want to do right. I want to change. I want to become a better man that you created me to be. Okay. Prayer, it's so powerful. Do you know this? It is definitely powerful, and it has assisted me, and it has assisted a lot of other men, because you are now able to talk to your Father, to God, and you are then able to express yourself, and especially the anger, the rage, the stress that you are feeling at that particular time. Can I propose to men that, Wafethu, please, against Amen, there's power in prayer, there's power in connecting to God. God is amazing. God is the only one who changes the heart of a man. No psychologist, okay, can change a heart of a man. Because you know why? He can change your mind, he can change your heart, he can change you. God is the only one that all of us as men, whether you go to church or you don't necessarily have to go to church for you to pray. You can silently go to your Father and say, you know what, this woman is messing me up. You know, this neighbor, so whoever that has hurt me, I cannot cope, I cannot manage. So I need you as a father. So can I propose as a peace, for you to have peace in your life as a man, you need to start by applying prayer. And the prayer does not mean good. You need to go to church, go to God today and say, God, I cannot do it without you. I've tried several times. I'm angry, I'm agitated, and there's nothing indeed that I can be able to do without you. So go to God in prayer as a man, and there's power. God listens to a prayer of a man. God is a man, and he listens to a prayer of a man, and God takes you seriously when, as a man, you stand up and say, I'm fighting for myself, I'm fighting for my heart, I'm fighting for my family, I'm fighting for the future generation. Go to God as a man. I want to emphasize that, because without God, you are nothing as a man. You are absolutely nothing. You just cannot survive. Okay? So those are some of that is the first thing that a man needs. You need peace, go to God in prayer. Ask God to assist you. Number two, if you want peace as a man, please get exposure. Get exposure. Now, Mzi, what are you talking about, exposure? I'm proposing to men that expose and surround yourself with people who will build you up. Now I'm a socialite. I surround myself with people. I've got friends, I've got mentors, I've got people that I connect with. But guess what? I choose who I connect with. One of the reasons is amadoda, they are with people that always influence them badly to do terrible things. Okay. There are men, remember, they want to speak up. They have a desire also to share their pain. But unfortunately, who they get themselves exposed to happens to be other men who have failed, happens to be other men who are also angry at their spouses, at their partners, at their wives. For that reason, then they say, indoor, I've had conversations. I will sit sometimes in a pub, not for real, without drinking, okay? Get there just to want to listen to a conversation, Yamadot. Guess what, Honorable Bo? I will share indoor or in a car wash. I'll take my car to a car wash and sit namadoda. They're doing their things. And he'll share a minute. I'm shy. Mina umfazi ngiyamdonora. Mina umfazi ngiyamfebela. Yabona? It's not good for indoda ukuthi ibe nomfazi oyi-one. So men are getting exposed and they buy into the wrong narratives because of what they're exposing themselves to. So my daughter, and guess what? Other men have got the power over you, all right, in terms of how you're supposed to conduct yourself and as far as dealing with the stress and the pain. Amanye amadoda will say, "Hi, manabodaba, hambo feba, do this," all right. And unfortunately, they influence you wrongly. So expose yourself as a man and surround yourself with SALGC. Here is an organization for a man, all right, an organization that says, man, let us teach you leadership, how to lead yourself as a man. Let us teach you how to become a gentleman. Okay, and we are a club. So what's a club in? Whoa, so in as much as you go for a club, come to the club. All right. So we are inviting you as a man to say, expose yourself to this environment. One thing that has assisted me as a man to become a better man. I messed up myself. And I made a lot of mess. I grew up being an angry guy, and as a teenager, I will hit these girls. Now, we were this kind of a home that we were Zulus and Xhosas. As such, now I used to hate it. Now I used to beat these girls so badly. And then now it becomes so bad. Or so I used to do bad things to these young girls when I was growing up. I used to be very violent. Now I got married without proper assistance myself. I'm into second marriage and my last marriage with my wife, but I messed up in my previous marriage. I did. All right. I beat my wife at one time. I abused her. There were moments where I abused her emotionally. All right. I became a bad man. I was not properly trained because I had exposed myself into a kind of environments and men that were influencing me badly. Okay. And I was into gangsterism at one time in my life as I was growing up. All right. So you can imagine someone getting married without getting proper counseling in terms of the institution of what is called marriage. You can hear me speaking this way, having a better outlook on life now, but I was also a terrible person, okay, such that I felt I was about to kill this woman that I was married to for 16 years. And for that reason, then I decided and said, look, I cannot take it anymore. This is bad. This is terrible. No matter what that lady did, okay, but I had no right to do some of the things that I did to her. She had some mistakes as well, but I did not. She did not warrant that I treat her the way I did. Okay, now I'm a better man now, but prayer then assisted me. Now I decided, I made a choice to expose myself to what and surrounded myself with good men who were influencing me to do and to make better choices. Okay, so for me to get peace, I needed to expose myself and overexpose myself to good guys. A means acceptance. I think I just did that. as a man also admit your mistakes as well. Some of us were in denial. Some of us, we see that we are doing wrong to our women, to our children, but some of us, we don't want to take responsibility, not of our actions, because before actions, there's something that we do before we act, we choose. So that is why I've written here, you must admit your mistakes as well, and you must take responsibility for your choice as a man. I'm admitting myself that I made a mess of myself at one time in my life. Okay, I messed up. Okay, I remember there was a moment where I locked my ex-wife outside of the house and I slept, and it was in a very dangerous area where I was. She could have been raped, she could have been killed, but because of I did not know any better, I messed up. So I'm taking responsibility, and I took responsibility as well to also admit that as a man, in as much as I can be hurt, in as much as I can stay in this relationship, but I'm admitting many men do not want to admit when they are wrong. I was one of those guys that I was finding it difficult for me to accept when my woman will come and say to me, hey, Mzi, you've messed up. So I used to mess up myself because I did not want. I'm learning and I'm growing in that area. With my wife now, I'm able to come to her and say, hey, sweetie, I've made a mistake. Okay. So as a man, if you want peace, please admit also when you have made a mistake and go and rectify those mistakes. Take responsibility for the choice, the wrong choice that you have made. Some of you as men, you have neglected your children. Okay, you're not taking care of those children. And this thing is stressing you. It's not that the wife or your ex or your ex-wife is denying you access, but you have also messed up as a man in terms of taking care of those kids. Go, those are your children. You're born. Sitting go and take care of those. Admit those mistakes, okay, as a man. If you need peace, accept also that you've made mistakes. We were growing up, we did not know any better. All right, admit the mistake but make better choices. I'm doing that on a daily basis. I'm trying. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, okay? And another thing, if you need then peace as a man, which I'm proposing to us before we close is, or before we take questions, Honorable Bo, is men, please communicate. Talk to someone, seek counseling. C stands for communication. Remember, P for P stands for prayer. After prayer, we expose yourself to right environments. Then you accept then your mistakes, and you admit to your mistakes. But now, what about communication? Are you aware that if you don't talk to someone, you will make terrible choices? Let us take away this notion. It's 2021, for God's sake, emadodeni. Let us take this notion yokuthi amadoda wakhulume, monna kingu ushwela kamogare. Please, that's rubbish, because this kind of thinking has made us to mess up. Let us learn as much as possible as a man to what? To talk to someone. In fact, at Stress Coach, we are saying, in fact, our theme is, every time when you hear us talking about Stress Coach, is talk to someone. Talk to someone. There is someone out there. Klamauke is there. Yabona, Teboko Machogana is there. Teboko Kekane is there to talk to us. Wabona, Buti Sipe is there. Wabona, Papi is there. Wabona, More Life is there. Do you understand? So these are men who have sacrificed themselves and said, you know what, I'm willing and I'm availing myself to assist men. Okay, ladies, please allow us an opportunity to express ourselves and our frustration. Our lovers, to say, please, whenever we want to express ourselves, don't shut us out. We need to be listened to in the same way that you want to listen to us. Sisibusi, please, siyacela, sibonelo siyacela. Yabona, asiruth reyakupa, asemplive. Baba Nkosi, siyacela Nkosi yami, Baba Khumalo. Yabona, ukuthi please, masifundeni ukukhuluma, and nabo sisi sicela basilalele. Give us an opportunity to listen. Noma, even though you cannot take me seriously as you're supposed to, but please give me an opportunity also to express myself. And please, as a man, seek counseling, seek help. You can come to us as Stress Coach. You can come to SALGC, and please, there are men who are ready at any time to listen to you. All right, finally, Can I just submit finally that as a man, please, I think you need to say enough is enough to abuse. I think if you want peace in your life as a man, you must come to a point where you just say, enough is enough. I've written a beautiful book for you where you will say, enough is enough. Here is the book that will assist men. All right. It says, enough is enough. This is a powerful book. And now you can and break the rules. There are rules that have told us, which as a man, you cannot talk. There are rules which have said, as a man, vele, you won't amount to anything. There's a book that says, as a man, please, I'm saying that in this book, break that rule, break the rules, and say, enough is enough. Of what? Enough is enough of this abuse that you've been committing as a man. But at the same time, also as a man, you need to say enough is enough of the abuse that you are enduring in your household. Because if you don't walk away from that situation, you're going to do terrible things. You're going to use a grinder. You're going to hit. I mean, please, as a man, can I also urge you to watch this show that is on TV, ebizwa Ufelani. And these are real stories, okay? They're playing them out, but please watch what men are doing. You are born, and the terrible things that they are doing on that show. But now you need to say what? Enough is enough. I think as a man, you need to get tired and take an action and say, I want to become a better man. But as I've just proposed initially, that without you going to the man upstairs, definitely it's going to be very difficult for you. And no matter how many times of therapy sessions you go through, until you go to God in prayer, until you expose yourself to the right man, all right, to the right organization such as SALGC, and until you accept your mistakes as well as a man and take responsibility for your choices, and until you communicate and express how you feel as a man, how hurt you are, how hurt you have been, and until you say enough is enough, there will never be any change. And you'll never experience the peace that Mzi is suggesting to you, which is the opposite of abuse, which is an opposite of the stress that we are deliberating about tonight. So I just wanted and just to share a little bit of the information that I know. This is the solution that I believe, that if men can take heed of this, believe you me, our world, our South Africa, like SALGC, it's going to be a better. Join the club, Wars and Daughter, join the club, become a part of this powerful organization and join, because we are all going to teach each other. None of us is an expert about these issues. I've told you my faults. I've told you how I've messed up, but let us join a club. Now, the purpose of this club is what? Is for us to become better leaders and better gentlemen. And in this club, and through the leadership and the leadership team, we can become a better man. And when we are better as men, guess what? Our homes will be better. Our children will be better. Bontate Tebogo Majokana le some organizations where he's dealing with Machita, we will make all ourselves what? Better men. Join organizations that are going to make us better men. And SALGC then becomes the starting point of those. And Aribueng Machita, Maskulumeni, let us go to God, let us expose ourselves to right environment, let us accept our mistakes, let us communicate, and finally, let's just say enough is enough. If you want to know principles about enough is enough, then you can buy this book. We can buy 2 of our books, and then where we say you deserve better as a man as well. And now you must move before you die or before you kill someone. I think it's enough is enough, man. I think we should not be partaking, in these discussions where as a man, we are no longer being taken seriously because of the things that we are doing. Hence, let us strive for peace. And the peace is exactly what Mzi is proposing to you tonight, to say, as a man, let's go to God in prayer. Let's expose ourselves to Amachita Grand and great organizations. Let us admit what we have messed up, and let us try to do better but let us also communicate, talk to someone. And as a man, finally, let's just say enough is enough. I want to rest my case, and I just want to say thank you so much, Honorable Bo Tlabakwe, and thank you so much to everyone that is joining us, every part of the country, as we just deliberate upon these issues. And I'm truly humbled once again to have received this opportunity. And God bless you as we strive for peace.
Leadership. Thank you very, very much. I get goosebumps as you're closing. You know, enough is enough. We need to accept our mistakes. We need to connect with others. You know, the piece that you have just put there, you have given very concise and practical solutions and tools of how we can come together as men and of how we can change as men. And you have been a practical example of that by standing there public. The whole world is watching you from wherever. This is on record. You admit to the mistakes that you have done. And that says to us men here, guys, it's easy to admit our mistakes. That pride is not going to do anything for you. That pride is not going to build any family for you. That pride is not going to raise proper leaders as little use for you. Drop your pride, be a man, be a leader, go and ask for help if you can. And you're absolutely right. I say we cannot, and I always say that in every lecture that we have, Mzi, I'm saying to everyone that it cannot be that we are brilliant as individuals. You have mentioned names, Abu Butisipe, Abu Tebucho Machokan, Abu Ban, Abu Tebucho Banban, Abu Sispusi, and whatever. But how come are we useless as a collective? It just doesn't make sense. We've got so much wealth and institutions of knowledge inside all of us. And if we come together at Lapi and we put what we know together, we will build better leaders and our nation will get out of this national rut, horrific rut that we caught ourselves into. So I am very grateful and thankful for you to have come here and have such an impactful talk. And this is historic. This is the first lecture that we have that is live broadcast on More Live radio, and also having so much attention, people coming to listen to this from this talk from all spectrums of life, male and female. And I have taken so much notes myself, and I'm gonna allow people here to start asking questions. And I know you are ready there sitting and ready to answer questions. And I'm saying, if you have a question, the leadership of SALGC, for those who are on Facebook Live, I want that this Khaled, they are there, they'll look at the questions. When you type them there, they'll raise your questions. Here we'll see by the raise of hand that we have a question that needs to be answered. If you need clarity on something, I will shoot first while the others are preparing their questions. Mzi, I know partly you have answered this question, but I need you to slightly elaborate on it and give it a direction that your perspective says it should be in. My question is, I've written it down here. You said men are silent in abuse and relations. What are you saying? Are you saying a man must cry? Or are you saying something else that we should understand in its right perspective?
I was speaking on radio 2 days ago and saying, I was called by this radio station 2 days ago and said, Mzi, in fact, it's in 2 weeks, where they said, Mzi, why are you saying Gutamato must cry? Do you know there is therapy in crying? I've got men that I know in historic books. One of the books that, of course, I've come accustomed to read, it is the book called the Bible. There's a guy called Jesus there. He cried. Do you know what let's say? Yeah, I cried. Sorry. He cried. The man called Jesus cried. And because why? Because he understood the essence of what? Of the therapeutic a nature of crying. So as a man, when you feel enraged, when you feel angered, when you feel all these emotions, when you feel you can't take it anymore, cry. I cry, all right, I cry. And please, bosses, Busi, Nabanye, who are listening to us, okay? I cry. My wife knows. I cry. I'm a cry baby. I go to her, and among some say, Honorable Bo, guess what happens? I go to her and I cry. And every time when I try to be a man, for me not crying, I mess up. I say things which I'm not supposed to say. I do things that I'm not supposed to say. So crying as a man is therapeutic. It helps. It relieves the stress. It relieves the pain that you may be feeling. So it's good as a man to cry. Stalaman Kala, please, Bosisi, don't take us as weaklings. Okay? Please embrace us. In fact, put us on your breast. Remember, every time when we needed attention, we used to do what as children? That's an illustration that I was using during the week. Every time, whenever you wanted to calm a child down, what did you do? You will take out your breast and you will feed me, okay? So, and you'll put me here. All right, because there's no place that will give us rest than to rest where we know that we've got the support of our spouses. Okay, my wife comes to me and say, she does not say much. She says, okay, stand on some walls. And believe me, I find the comfort. Sometimes I sleep here, all right, on the bosom, all right. Then I can find the therapy, all right, that I needed. So please, both sisters, don't deny us that privilege of sleeping on your bosom whenever we are hurt. Don't reject us. Don't say we are weak. We are not weak. Yes, we are weak, but at the same time, we are strong. But please allow us an opportunity to cry as men. I'm not sure if I've answered.
Yeah, okay, you have made a perspective very clear. I see you, Dr. Kekan has already thrown something in. He says, you have tears, and I believe, and it relieves the emotions and pain. So
Yes,
clearly there's a lot of power in crying from what I learn here. I'm learning myself. I have my issues. Umme Osam says, indeed, a man should feel safe to cry to his woman.
yeah.
His woman should be his comfort, his safe haven. Oh, okay. I'm trying to read, but there's a lot of messages here, and I'm going to hand over to Awuntati that can read that side. There's other leaders here of the club who can assist in that regard. So I'm taking questions and comments, and let's hit the road. By raise of hand, I'll be able to see with the little icon there that you have a comment or you have a question. While there's still no leadership Dipuo and Tatleng. This is one of the friends of SALGC in Mepiers in Pretoria. Over to you, Dipuo.
Lekai. Thank you from the speaker for the day. My biggest concern from the presentation is he mentioned that when men goes and report cases, whatever it might be, and police will laugh. I mean, you know, it doesn't just happen to men, even to female who are raped. My biggest concern is what are we doing about it? Because it's a continuous thing that will make people be afraid to go and report when they are exposed in an abusive relationship. Because then it means the SAPS need to train our colleagues in how to handle such matters. It means they are not trained, they have no clue what they are doing, and it's going to hurt a lot of people going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Osdipo. And if you can put your hand down so that when you raise it again, I should be able to pick it up as a new hand. Mzi, this is very, very profound what she is asking. And from SALGC's side already, I need to be upfront and say, the purpose of this club, it's not to be a talk show a platform. It's to be an action-oriented platform. These are issues that has been spoken about for time immemorial, but nothing has been done. That is why we want men to come together here so that we have professionals, lawyers, everybody who can be able to give pro bono work to this club and say, We are challenging the Minister of Finance, of Police. We are challenging the budget. We are challenging that. We are challenging the demolition, the demonic demolition of houses that people have built out of their hard work, and the government is unable to build houses for them or provide land for. So we need to act, to be seen to be taking action on issues that are affecting our people, that are affecting us. Because if you look around, it's just talk, 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 talk. Nothing is happening. And then let me hand over to you to answer Osdupuo in this regard.
As Lipu Wile was a question, and at the same time, she also answered it to say our police force, our justice system, unfortunately, is not being properly trained to be dealing with these matters. But now, one thing that I also take cognizance of, and I salute, is the team that is here, the people that are listening. Some of them, they are from, you know, the police cluster or the security cluster, so to speak. So let us spread the message. Let me make an example. I share a stress coach, for instance, to run workshops, to run training interventions. We've got the capacity that we have. All right. My wife and I, get example referred, people are coming to us, and you know, we're running a lot of workshops and seminars and conferences where we empower and capacitate people. And you know, even the churches are also not being properly trained. In Tatabako, you are saying that you preach God, you preach the gospel, you advocate for people to have a relationship with God. But guess what? Some of the men who are hating, when they go to church, when they go to pastors, to be handling these matters, especially matters of the heart, they are not. I'm one of them. That when I was going through hell in my relationship, I went to church, I went to pastors, you know, and I can tell you terrible things which are happening. And I think some of you guys who are listening, you can attest to the fact that some of our institutions, including Body Kereke Zaruna, they are not properly trained to be dealing with these matters. Runa, we'll be rolling out a program in 2 weeks' time, where we are going to say, if you need assistance, if you need help, we are there for you in terms of how you can handle a man that is saying, I'm going through pain. This woman is doing terrible things. They are not properly trained. And you cannot blame. I mean, theology does not deal about some of these issues. In terms of, you know, how to interpret the Bible, how to preach, and that and that. But now, where we are lacking capacity, stresscoach.co.za, when you visit that, you will see indeed that we are a platform the way we can be able to roll out this thing. What I love about also SALGC is you've got programs where we can collaborate in that and go into these institutions and empower and capacitate our personnel to be dealing with these matters. Okay, so we cannot blame them, but the voice has to be, please let us knock into those doors and say, these are our cries. Men by Allah, you reject them. When they come, you laugh at them, you scorn them. I remember my ex-wife, I can say an example. It was practical. She hit me so bad that I got into the car, I don't report to police station. So I've been a victim of being ridiculed. And I saw some stars, you know. I seriously saw some stars. She hit me so bad. So I went to the police station and I had a gun because I did not want to use the gun. I had a gun. I would have finished her off. But I went there, they took my gun and they laughed at me. And now these serious situations, that is why we've got Body SALGC. That's why we've got Bopra Tapes. We are running programs where they're starting the children here. And a little a stress coach about Soul Inspiration Global, where my wife is also running Hispanalena. We are helping young people to be able to understand themselves and their role in these matters. Thank you so much. Yes, there is help. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Great stuff, great stuff. Well done. Well put, and Mzi. We appreciate the good work that you are doing. And these issues are there. While I'm waiting for hands to be raised, please raise your hand if you have any question. And when that is please, if there's anyone on Facebook or a question, please do not hesitate to take it. I see Ubongani Kaba Leadership is always here with us. Your hand is up. Leadership Kaba.
Good day. Thank you so much, leadership, both Ntate Tlabakwe, and thank you so much, leadership Ngoma. You've taken a topic that is very, very sombering, and you've made it relatable, and we can all relate to it to a certain level. So my question is actually linked to what you've just answered now.
Yeah.
On the flip side, the first point in your piece, you said it's prayer.
Yeah.
So now, how do you deal with the guys who are not really religious? Because I mean, not everyone is religious. So if you're gonna be trying to introduce someone to starting with prayer as their go-to point, isn't that a stumbling block? Because now someone who's already traumatized and stressed out, don't you encounter a situation where that person you'd be feeling like you are now telling them to become religious in a way, and meanwhile you are trying to help them? It's just related to some people are just not religious, they just don't believe in prayer. So how do you deal with that, leadership Ngoma?
Baba, believe in me, Baba, everyone prays. A prayer is not a religious activity, but it's something that we do on a daily basis. Believe in me, whether you go to church, you cannot confine a prayer to church or to any religion. But prayer, it's simply a human being connecting with his God, with his creator. Remember, Mr. Taba, what I said in Maguti, if all else fails, as a matter of fact, men have been disappointed by many institutions, including the ones that we have gone to. But at the bottom, at the heart of hearts of any man is the desire to communicate with a super and a higher power. That's exactly what Mzi is proposing to you. Go to God, go to a superpower that you believe in and say, because everything else, I've tried everything else. I've gone to this. I've gone to Lenyanga. I've gone to these people. I've gone to this psychologist. Now, God, you my creator. All right. So I'm proposing that men go to their creator. Let men go to another man, the man who created them. Okay. The man who understand their anger, the men who understand what they're going through. And Baba, you will see the difference. Why am I making reference to a prayer, Baba? It has assisted me.
Yes.
Prayer works. Tlabako can tell you that prayer works. Siponkosi can tell you that prayer works. Anyone else can tell you that prayer works. So when Dr. Kekana can tell you that prayer works. So if anything in this life fails, when you cannot cope with COVID-19, when you can't cope with racism that we've been hearing about these days, the only source of power and strength and of sanity, it is when we go to he who has the power to say, everything else has failed. Now I come to you. And guess what? God is ready to listen to a prayer of a man anytime, any day, every second, every minute. So that's what I'm doing, Baba. It does not have to be religion. This is not religion, what I'm talking about. Because every time, and you nearly hit someone else, you say, hey, God, I'm not talking about tandaza. So by the time you mention, hey, men pray every time. So, but unfortunately in our churches, we have made it a religious activity. For that reason, that is why we think it's very cumbersome, it's very complicated. Let men, let men go to God, and talk to him and on.
Thank you so much, leadership.
Pleasure.
Beautiful leadership, well said. Prayer is really not a religious activity. Prayer truly is a legal petition. You have
Yes,
to
sir.
pray. Yeah, it's a legal petition that we have to take to the master. I see Ocean Tabi's hand is up, but let me start with Usipo. Usipo's hand has been up. Ocean Tabi, I'll come back to you now. Leadership Sipo.
Good day, leadership. Thank you very much from Mzi Mngoma for the powerful lessons to try and assist men, us as men, to help ourselves out of abusive relationships and make sure that we really adhere to the peace sort of principles. So I've got a question here from Facebook from Ntiboheng Ntebo Amelia. she says, it is, I assume it's a her. Apologies if I'm wrong. It is difficult for men to rescue.
You might create that. All right.
It is difficult for men to rescue themselves from abusive relationships when they sort of feel like they belong there. So for men who feel like it is impossible to leave abusive relationships, how can they find the courage to leave? And I'll lump that, can I please lump that with a question from Ndate Hosea Makafula, who says, what are the signs that your abuser is not changing and what to do if you see such? Thank you.
Yes, my leader, this is your platform.
The first one, how do you see the sign? Okay, before the signs, but now, yeah, the first question is, let me answer the second one. What are the signs that your abuser is not changing and what to do if you see such? You will eventually see the signs that the person is not. Okay, in my deliberation, in my previous life, in my previous marital life, I saw the sign that I was not changing and I was not prepared to change. And I also had proposed to my ex to say, please, let's change. This thing is not doing any good to our children. All right, we've got 3 kids together, but we've been going through pain. We've been going through a lot. We are hating each other instead of building each other. All right, now I saw the signs that this, and it made me to become a terrible person by doing what I've just described. But now seeing good to know there were no signs, guess what? I decided to move out. Hey, please, can you listen to your heart, my daughter? Can you just listen? You've listened to everyone else, but this time, please, can you listen to your heart? There is nothing wrong in living a relationship that is counterproductive to your sanity. Let me say it again. There's nothing wrong in living a relationship, okay, where you are no longer wanted. Uswabonile masign walo sisi ukuthi hayi man, this lady is messing things up. This lady is no longer assisting me. This lady is wanting to cause me to do terrible things to hurt her, to hurt myself, and to hurt my children, and to those around. Puma in that relationship. That's exactly why my wife and I, we wrote this book. We wrote this book. It says you must do what? You must live before you die. It says how to set yourself free from a relationship that drowns your self-worth, that drowns your sanity, that drowns your sense of being. Uphuma kanjani? My wife and I, we are from relationships which never worked out. So together, we came together, let us share our experiences, our painful experiences of the past. My wife, Untabi, the one that has just joined us, March, guess what? He was married to a priest. And being married to a priest, guess what happened? This man wanted to kill her. Seriously, he was killing her. Umfundisi, taking an axe. No, he took an axe, wanting to grind and finish off this wife of mine. Guess what she did? She excused herself from that relationship. Exactly what I did as well. I was in a terrible relationship. I saw the signs, like Makafula Osia is asking, to say, what are the signs? Once you begin to see the signs and you know that these signs are going to hurt you, are really hurting the relationship, why stay? But why are we staying? We are most of the time, as men, staying in this relationship because of what? Because we are scared of the children. We are staying because of the kids. Don't stay in a relationship that is abusive of you because of kids. All right. God will give you the strength. God will give you the power. I find my wife with beautiful kids. All right. We are raising all these beautiful girls together. She had to leave. She had to start life from scratch. I had to leave. Okay. So leave a relationship that is no longer beneficial, and especially a relationship that is tempting you, all right, to make terrible choices which are counterproductive to you. So when you see the signs, Puma, seek assistance, okay, but when it fails, when you have exhausted everything else, leave a relationship. Because when you leave, at least you will leave a relationship that has never worked for you, and then you will find peace somewhere else. Like me, guys, I'm a happy human being. I found Untabi, I found peace, I found contentment from a relationship that was never working, that caused me to do terrible things. So there's nothing sinful about living. Don't listen to your pastors that say stay. Don't listen to them, because they said that to us. Okay, they said hlala kuzolunga, rapela fela. After rapets and wamona mutona, they still continue to display signs of disrespect. They still not on board. But please leave. All right, leave. I think that is the first one. Because that's even the second leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you still talking, my leader, or must I go to Ocean Tabi?
No, I'm covered. That I hope I've covered
okay.
Honorable Osia Makafula. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I see Dr. Kekana's hand is up. I'll come back to him. I'll come to him. Let me start with Ocean Tabi first. Ocean Tabi, over to you. I see you
Good
share the
afternoon.
same.
Share the same surname.
I see that.
Thank you so much, Ntate Butlabakwe, for this topic. And thank you, Mzi Mngoma, for sharing what you shared and the openness and the transparency that you shared.
Thank you, my angel.
You know, when I listen to this this topic, that the stress of men trapped in abusive relationships, I must admit, I don't know when my husband came to bed last night because he was grappling with this topic. Early in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, he was not in bed. Guess what? He was making researches after researches with regards to this topic. And one of the struggles he talks about is wanting to research as well on feminism and what feminists say, because the truth of the matter is that whether we like it or not, there's a lot of us feminists out there, and our feminisms are not the same. And in us being feminists, we have, not we, but some of the women have decided to take a plight of saying they are going to revenge back to these men. Knowing very well, and I'm telling you about this because I have graduated from feminist studies with Duke Institute in California. And there's a lot of things that men don't know about what women discuss about men in private. And instead of us, treating each other as human, we find ourselves having to grapple with men are trash expressions. And as a result, women, would do things, terrible things behind closed doors, knowing very well that they will be the first people to actually go to the police station and no man will be listened to. I can tell you the truth right now that there are women who continue to provoke men. And it's women that I am dealing with and wanting to understand, why do you continue to treat this man like this, yet you don't want him to live and have a peaceful life? And the answer that I got from one of the colored ladies, sorry to talk about the ethnicity, but that was a group of ladies I was dealing with in El Dorado Park. She said that, I feel that I am much loved when I am beaten up, because at least after the beating, I'm going to get a hug.
Mm.
It's sick notions of women who continue, and I'm gonna tell the truth, to provoke men. And when we discussed this morning, and my husband is asking me, but why aren't men, opening up? And I say, your forefathers have said to you, "Indodikalela ngaphakathi." So as a result, even when men are being abused, instead of talking the truth of what happened, they will talk about, no, I did this, I was not supposed to do it, but they don't talk about what a woman did. Because when you talk about, this woman has done 1, 2, and 3 to me, you are being told, irrespective of what she has done to you, you have no right. Of course, nobody has the right to abuse the other. But I can tell you, we as women, we are victims of abuse, but men too are victims of abuse. And men, unfortunately, they don't open up, they don't talk, because when they talk, Number one, their egos, their manhood somehow is stripped down, so that they are being ridiculed, and they continue to perpetuate the violence. In closing with what I want to say, one of the well-known speakers, I'm not going to say, while we were at the talks and we were busy deep diving and discussing the feminist theories, this person is a mother with 2 sons. She has a father whom she says she loves dearly. And she says that my father is trash because he may have been a hero to me, but trash to my mother. So as a result, I have boy children. And the question I asked was, if you are saying this to your father and you are saying you left the father of your children because he was trash, and you don't want men in your life, what does it make your children to be? And the answer was, I'm grooming alpha males, boys who can be gay, and I'm opening them up to that life. And this is the truth of people that we think are sober, but they are bringing feminist notions that are sick, feminist notions that are full of anger, feminist notions of women who have decided to become lesbian just because they don't want to deal with men. My solution is simple. Baba Mngoma, we are all human. I'm a mother. You are a father. I'm a human. You're a human. Male, female. God created us all alike, and He loves us all. For as long as we don't come together in these platforms where men open up and talk, and we allow them to cry in our bosoms, men will continue to kill women day in and day out because nobody wants to hear them out. If women can continue to provoke men and continue to insult them behind closed doors, and because men don't talk back, and once slapped, they go to the police station, then unfortunately, we are going to find ourselves even having men who have been, accused of false things behind bars, false rape. I was telling my husband a shocking story about a woman who told the daughter to tell the police that he raped her, and yet she is angry because the man cheated on her, trying to escape the situation of Dindwa every day. That's the kind of women we have. Women are not innocent at all. Women know how to perpetuate violence. Some women know how to push and press the buttons, but because men cannot talk, and they'll be laughed at. If we don't radically come together and be truthful and open about such topics, we will continue to see everything that is happening right now. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. Wow, what a mouthful. Oh, yeah, this is just too heavy. Dr. Gekana, can you come in there?
Yeah, thank you very much to Ausintabi. She took 90% of what I was going to say. That's very good. So I'm going to be very short. I think Mngoma did allude to peace. You know, when you spoke about peace, I think as men, we must come to a level where we are able to become honest with one another. So as you expose yourself, men like saying, no, you don't get to eat right. So the issue is that how do you expect other people who are far from you to help you while you can't even become honest with the people around you? We need to come to a point where we are honest with one another, because you can't ask this friend who seems as if everything is right. You assume they're not going through what you're going through. So therefore you pass and look somewhere, and then only then you ask for help. Later you realize the same friend that everything is fine, hanged themselves or they did something terrible. So I think Nati, as Amato, we must learn to be honest with one another. Let's not try to beat or overrun one another or look better or look giant around one another. I think we must be honest, because stuff that we hear about that men do are really appalling. And you realize that you're with this person yesterday, they hanged themselves today. Why didn't they tell me? You know what they tell you? They tell you a slogan. There's a slogan I called, it's morning, how are you? I'm good, and how are you doing? It's a slogan. You say it without thinking. So I think we must be honest with each other. Thank you very much for the platform.
Thank you, Doc. Much appreciated. Mzi, do you want to say anything out of these two powerful comments?
They've said a mouthful, Tata. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They've said a mouthful. My wife said a mouthful. Dr. Kekana said a mouthful. What more can I say after they've spoken?
Absolutely powerful. I agree with you indeed.
Thank you so much.
Leadership Sekhale, is there any comments on Facebook?
From my side, the leadership, I got there's just a comment to say thank you, leadership. You can I think it was saying it's apparently sinful for a man to leave his marriage due to a Bible. What can the presenter say about that? To say it's sinful for a man to divorce.
But Sipo, thank you so much. Look, I don't know of a verse that says it is sinful to divorce. The Bible does not say it is sinful to divorce. The Bible says God says, I hate divorce. I think it's a topic for another day, Bob, that we need to accord it all the necessary theological insinuations and theological understanding of what does the Bible say as far as that is concerned. Now, God hates divorce because for simple reason, of course, if it is mismanaged, it is causing a lot of problems. But at the same time, the Bible, Christ is also saying you can divorce when your wife is cheating or when your husband is cheating on you. So the Bible does have a room for divorce. When an atrocity is committed on you, then it is allowed. Divorce is separation. Divorce is disconnection, is disengagement. Do you want to tell me ukuthi uNkulunkulu delights in seeing a man abusing their woman? Do you want to tell me ukuthi God is happy when he sees Mzi beating Untabi? Do you think God is happy when Untabi abuses Mzi? Is he happy in that kind of a setup? Now, our misunderstanding and misinterpretation of what the Bible is saying as far as issues of the heart, whether it is divorce and something else, makes us, believe you me, to become the kind of Christians, if we are, where we will listen to all the rubbish that is being thrown at us to stay when we are no longer wanted. What kind of a pastor? I mean, I know, believe me, my wife can tell you, and you can also say that. We know of situations where Muruti, we went to them, and Muruti Aridula in this relationship. Guess what? They stayed, and in their staying, what happened?
Someone died.
Someone died. Now, what do you say? Someone died because Murut or Mamurut or a leader in the church who said, stay. Once you see the signs, in fact, in our book, we talk about the signs. Once you begin to see these signs for the day, there are about 25 signs. Once you begin to see these signs happening in your relationship, then you must know that your relationship is in trouble. So you can't stay listening to your pastor that says stay, yet when you know deep down. In fact, let me shock you, Bakhulubak. Let me shock everyone that is listening to me right now. Let me shock you by saying that some of the relationships are not supposed to have taken place in the first place. Let me say it again. Some of the relationships, they're a mistake, a terrible mistake. Now, you want to tell me that God justifies such relationships? You know you cheated on your ex. You know you cheated on someone else to be in that relationship. For some reason, you had resources, then you got married, yet someone's heart has been hurt. Some of the relationships were not supposed to have taken place. They are not blessed. Okay? So now, why is now the foundations are rotten. You can't build a house, you know, on a cracked foundation. Some of your relationship, you were not supposed to have been with that man in the first place or with that woman in the first place. That is why there is a prevalence of abuse in that relationship. You know how you meet. I always say to my wife and other platforms, you know, how you meet matters. Let me say it again. How you meet matters. You may find yourself in that relationship. You were not supposed to have gotten married to that person in the first place, but you are with them. And guess what? You married them because you got them pregnant. You married them because you were under pressure. You married them for whatever the reason, the economic reasons. The chelete khadi, no, you hate this man. All right. This man is no longer providing for you, then you hate them. Then there's conflict. All right. You are in this relationship because it was not supposed to have happened in the first place. That is why there's prevalence of this terrible thing that you're talking about, which is called abuse. Okay. So now, whenever you know your heart, you can lie to Kabakwe, you can lie to Walker, you can lie to Mujapilo, you can lie to everyone else. But guess what? You cannot lie to your heart. You know as a man how you feel. You know as a woman how you feel in that relationship. Buy our books and you will get all the proper guidance, all right, to say how you can move away from such a terrible situation. There's nothing wrong. So haya puma before you kill someone or before you get killed. Leave that relationship. If it is sinful for me to say that, then I'll have a conversation with God. And God is going to help me accountable and say, when I'm saying, why did you not tell people to leave a terrible relationship? I rest my case.
That's a beautiful one. It is wrong. I love that, my leader. Leaders, please remember, we are live on More Live Radio. We have 10 minutes to close. If there's any other question, that is Khalik Yuli's got his hand up. Leadership, Khalik?
Thank you very much, leadership, and greetings to everyone live on radio, live on Facebook, and wherever the platform might be. And thank you very much again to Mzi for a very provocative topic, I have to say, and normally what we never talk about. I think I won't touch much on what other leadership have already mentioned. I think it's a very debatable topic, but all I can just say is the one important aspect when coming to men swimming in stress in relationships is actually the investment of time in oneself. I find it in so many times when I deal with this kind of matters, men always or maybe in most cases, try to find shortcuts in mending their own or fixing their own selves. They don't really put much effort and time. Is very important because you look at the issues of maybe lack of information when coming to places where men can get help and all that. I believe nowadays is unlike the olden days. Platforms are there, but men choose to, some of them choose not to invest time in those programs. The likes of the readings, there are a lot of readings that men can do, but then the amount of time you choose to invest in any activity, that's what can rescue you. So all I'm saying is even investing time in your own selves. The other reason why men find themselves in devastated situations is because at some point they don't find time to invest in themselves and realize that I do have stress. I believe there are men swimming in a pool of stress and depression, but they only act it out. They are not even aware that they are having stress. So that's one thing that's very important, because the likes of these kind of platforms, they can be all over and all that, but then I would wish to have more than 1,000 men if it was possible, because these are issues that when you meet men doing very terrible things, they will tell you that there's no platform for us. So all I'm saying to gentlemen out there is, please find it in yourselves to invest time, most importantly, in yourselves. And that's where perhaps you can find a better way to get help, and also platforms or tools that can actually help you. I thank you very much.
Thank you, leadership. Appreciate it very much. That's just a very emotional and powerful topic. I see a lot of comments that what Mrs. Ngoma have said, people just want to have topics out of that. Osdipuo is asking if we can get a speaker who will talk about feminism so that we extrapolate it. I don't know if we'll be able to get someone relevant and which angle will tackle that. And Osam here also wants us to go deep into this issue. of theology, biblical issue, theological issue in terms of the divorces and all those other things that makes people stay in unhappy places. So I think we have taken that as well. And I've just had an announcement that More FM has got a show that starts now at 6. So they will be disconnecting, and we're very grateful and thankful to them for having given us this historic live broadcast of this great, amazing show and lecture. So a few minutes to closing. If there's any question, I'll take one last question, one or two questions, and then we give our speaker a closing opportunity to just have a closing say, and then we close. Any other question or comment? Gentlemen, can you pick anything there?
Not from my side, leadership.
Not from your side, my leader. That is Khali. Anything that you can pick up? If he can't pick up anything, that Mzi, I'm just gonna ask you to give us a closing remark, and just we know that your family here at home now, and I just want to just re-emphasize in everyone's presence that this is, although this is your first time here, it's certainly not your last time. and with the turnout here, it really tells that, yeah, it was a beautiful show, absolutely beautiful lecture. In a nutshell, can you just give us in your closing remark, Narimzi?
My closing remark, Ndati, is just one to thank you so much, Ndati Tlabako, together with the team, and for entrusting this man to come and share, a word or two encouraging men. Number two, to men, let's pursue peace. Let us pray. Let's go to God and pray. And let us follow all the principles that I've just highlighted as far as prayer, in fact, as far as this matter is concerned. Let us pray. Let's go to God in prayer. Let us expose ourselves to the right environments. As men, let us accept when we have made mistakes. As men, let us communicate, meaning talk to someone as a man. And finally, as a man, say enough is enough. Now, every time you see the word peace there, you must always remember that it talks to those aspects. It is an opposite of stress. If you want a peaceful life, all right, follow that method that I've just proposed to you. And we can indeed become better men. And no one will call us trash, all right? But we are going to be those environments, those men that are impactful. But let's not doing for Tabakwe, Lekaba, Lisiponkos. Let's not do this, for CPA, for Machokana. Let's not do it for anyone else, but let us do it for ourselves, and let us do it for what? For the next generation. And please, let us join the club. I'm the one, I'm raising my hand, I'm joining the club tonight. I'm going to be a part of the club. I love to be taught about leadership. I love to be a gentleman. Hence, I need to belong to this club, and I love it. Thank you so much, leadership, for the opportunity. God bless you. And I love my wife, and I thank you so much, my sweetheart, for joining us. I am what I am because of this woman. Sweetie, I salute you. Thank you so much. Even Nomankala ngikutefela, ngiyamutefela, and she knows the right buttons to press, and she knows where to place me when I come to cry. And thank you that I become vulnerable to you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not leadership. I don't know what it is. No, I like this question. I'm really excited, my leader. And that's how men should be,
Yeah, man.
That's exemplary. And that's what our boy child should learn. That the love is there. We love each other.
Yeah.
We love our partners. We're not having our partners and looking on the side. Whoever is better, I'm going to jump into another one. Proudly and publicly so. You love your wife. And I love that, my leader. And I'm excited that you're going to be a member of this club. You're going to contribute your wisdom and knowledge in building this South African nation together. We have for far too long, we have been individuals in our own corners, shining alone, not recognizing the power of together. That if we can come together, hold each other's hand, contribute what we have in our brains, You know, like Dr. Miles Monroe says, the richest place you can find in the world, it's down there in the graveyard, because
Yeah.
ideas, brilliant minds are lying down there. But
Yeah.
here the club says, you're not going to the grave. We are squaleta with those
Yeah.
ideas, those brilliant ideas that will build this nation. You're not going anywhere. The purpose is to find your gift and share it with the world. So
Yeah.
we're glad that you're coming. We hope that many men will come to the club, bring their gifts, and share this gift with the world. In closing from our side, we've got All Leadership Sikhale here. He's launching a powerful program next Sunday. And please, everyone, just go to the website. Look at that. It's Man's Cave, where men, all these issues that have been talking about here, they're talking exactly to the point of Man's Cave. And it's very great that All Leadership Mzi is here. He'll also assist in ideas on how to really get that program quick and running. We thank you very much for making time for this club. And please, these lectures are twice a month, fortnightly. Week after next, we're having another lecture. The week after that, we're having another lecture. And I'm sure for those who are very excited, like myself, to see Leadership Mzi having summarized such a huge topic and gave it so much tools that we can take home with, we will see him again. He's here. He's going to come back here again with another topic. Mzi is also here. I hope and pray that she'll be the friends of SALGC and help give guidance to how women should also look at things, the perspective that we look at things, because there's very much interest. And I've seen people saying, wow, 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 as she talks, and they wish that it can be topic on its own, what she's talking about. But I'm sure we'll have her here. We have women here who have spoken before, Osintabi. So we can sit and look at a topic that is suitable, that will talk to women and talk to families. And then we can bring you and you come and talk to the family here of SALGC. We thank you very much, everyone, for making time, and we appreciate you. God bless you. And whoever is driving, drive safe. Whoever is home, have a beautiful coming week with your family. We love you all. Thank you very much. Come to SALGC.
Baba Sebonga, cool. Thank you so much. People can connect to www.stresscoach.co.za to connect with us, but they can also connect to Mrs. Mngoma at www.ntabim.com to invite her to your platforms about, talking about these matters. And about, thank you so much. Please check us on Friday, every Friday at 7 o'clock. We've got Stress Talk. Please join us. Dr. Kekana is there, and Aspalisa, Ntabi, and everyone else, they are joining us on Friday. Every Friday, 7 o'clock, please do join us. So connect with us. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you, leader.
Thank you. Thank you, leadership.
Thank you.